Hi all. Today in this session, we will check how we can implement SCD type 2 logic using Azure Data Factory, using a data flow in Azure Data Factory. So here I will be using the source as my SQL table, and I will be having the target as a SQL table. Let's go through some example first. Let's see one example first. So what is SCD type 2? So it is slowly changing dimension type 2. So there are multiple SCD, that is SCD type 1, type 2, type 3, and so on. But mostly used SCD is SCD 1 and 2. In the last session, we checked how we can implement SCD type 1. Here we will check how we can implement SCD type 2. So what is SCD type 2? In SCD type 2, we normally maintain the entire history of how the data has changed over the period of time. So here, let's take one example. So this is my source data and this is my target table. When the day one data comes, so suppose the target table doesn't have any data in the target table. So when the day one data comes, so we got three records, that is employee ID 1, 2, 3 with first name, middle name, last name, department name, and its corresponding start date. Start date is basically when this particular employee ID has started working on this department name. So that is the start date. So when this is the first time I'm getting the record from the source, then all this record will be getting inserted into the target with the active flag as Y. Okay. So that means which says that all these three records are active during the day one run. Now suppose on the day two, we received these many records. That is employee ID 1, 2. So the employee ID 1, 2, there is no change in the data. In employee ID 3, the department name got changed. So basically, Siva Sahu was working with the facilities. Now his department got changed to finance from this date, that is 14th of December 2023. So, and this is a new record that has come in day two source file, it is Smita Mahapatra. So in this scenario, how the data will be looking? When I will be processing the day two in SCD type 2, as there is no change in the data for employee ID 1 and 2, it will be there in the same format with the active flag Y. There will be no change in the data. Earlier, before day 2, data has come during the day 1. We have employee ID 3, whose department name is facility and the flag is Y. So as we have received an update on top of this Siva Sahu record with the department name as finance, that means Siva Sahu was working in facility, which is no more active now. Now he has moved to finance department. So in that case, what I need to do is whatever the record I have that is for facilities for the Siva Sahu for employee ID 3, that I will be marking it as inactive. That is the active flag is N. Then whatever the new record I have received from the source, that will be inserted into the target with the active flag as Y. Then we received a new record that is employee ID 4, that is Smita Mahapatra. So that will be inserted into my target table with active flag as Y. So if you see here, we are maintaining the entire history. In SCD type 1, we were not maintaining the entire history. We were only maintaining the latest data that is available. But here we are maintaining the entire history, like uh, currently which department this particular employee is working. But when that employee ID was in backdated dates, in which all department the employee ID was working, those informations also we can get it with this. So this is how we are maintaining the entire history, and this is what the SCD type 2 is. So basically, what we are doing in this record 3, whatever the data we had for employee ID 3 facility, we are updating the active flag as N to ensure that that is no more active as of now. Then this is a new record that we have received for employee ID 3. We are inserting that with the active flag Y, and This is a new record altogether. We did not have this data at all in this target table. So we are inserting that record with active flag white. So now let's see how we can implement it in SCD type 2. So let me go to the source table first. So this is my source table, which has employee ID, employee first name, middle name, last name, department, and the start date. Let's see if I have the data or not. So this is the data that we just discussed in the Excel. So this is how the data is. Now let me check if I have the target table or not. So let me. So I don't have any data in the target table, but what the target table contains, it contains the employee ID, employee first name, middle name, last name, department name, start date, and the active flag. Okay. Now let's go to Azure Data Factory. So as a basic, as a start, what we need to do is we need to create a linked service. As the data is available in SQL database, I need to create a linked service for SQL database. I already created it. Then the next activity is I need to create the two data set. One data set will be for source and the other data set is for the target. So I have already created it for those two data set. Now let me create a workflow. Let me create a data flow. So for that, what I need to do, I need to click on these three dots and click on new data flow. Let's provide appropriate name, SCD2. So what I need to do is I need to first import the source. So for that, let me click on this add source and provide appropriate name, that is source, and provide the data set as source. Source option, let it be as it is. Let's preview the data. So this is the three record that I have in the source. Now, what I need to do is I need to even import the target. So basically, when I'm doing SCD2, I need to check, compare it with the target table if those records are available or not. If those records are not available, then I will insert. If those records are available, then I'll update the existing record and insert a new record. So for that, I will be using this target table as a reference. So for that, what I will do is I will add one more source and make it as target reference and provide the data set as a target. We don't have any record here as of now. Yeah. So after this, what we need to do is we need to compare, though we will be comparing it with the employee ID, but we need to check if there is any update in the other columns or not. So for that, there are two ways to do it. What I will be doing is I will be comparing this employee ID with this employee ID, first name with the first name, middle name with the middle name, last name with the last name, department name with the department name, started with the start. So that is a one approach of doing that. So if we are having multiple columns as a joining condition, it will decrease the performance of your workflow or your data flow. So to improve it, what we can do is we can create a hash column. Hash column, what it will be doing is it will check the value that are available in this all these columns that we are considering, and it will create a unique ID for those. So we will be generating the hash key. Uh, so we can compare, instead of comparing each and every column with the source and the target, we can just compare that hash column with the source with the hash column in the target. So let me create the hash column first. So for the source, let me create a hash column. So in that, I will be going to derived columns, provide appropriate name as source, and add a column as, add a expression. So here I will be using MD5 function to create the hash value. So this is my MD5 function, and I will go to input schema and I will be selecting all the columns that I would be requiring to generate the hash value. So basically I need employee ID, employee first name, middle name, last name, department name, and the start date. If you refresh it, the data preview, you can see how it is generating the hash value. So here you can see for each combination of each column value, it will be generating a hash value. Let's click on save and finish. Let's do the similar thing for target also. I will go to derived column, provide appropriate name, target. Here also I will be doing the same thing, MD5 function, and I will be providing the employee ID, first name, middle name, last name, department name, and start date. Let me click on finish. Yeah. So the first activity is, what I need to do is, like for here, during the day one, I did not have any data in the target. So all these records that are having in the source are a new insert for me. Those are the fresh records. So first of all, what I need to do is I need to identify how many records are the fresh inserts, how many are the new records. So for that, what we can do, we can click on this source as source, and so while to check what is my new record, so source table will be a driver table for me, and I will be using the target table as a reference. So for that, what I need to do is I need to click on exist, provide appropriate name. Here the left stream is hash source. I'll be providing the hash target is my right stream doesn't exist. And here I will be comparing the hash value with the source with the hash value with the target. So in this case, so I will be covering this scenario also. So here I need to identify how many records I need to insert. So if the hash value is not same, so that means this record need to be inserted. So check for new records. Let's preview the data. I should be getting all the three records. So all the three records are flowing. Now I will create a derived column so that I can provide a active flag to it. So I will be adding a column active and provide it as Y, because these are the new inserts and this need to be active. So let's preview the data once again. So here you can see all these three records are having the active flag Y. So all these records need to be mapped to the target. So I'll be using sync here. And here I will be providing as the target insert as the name and provide the data set as target setting. I will be keeping it as allow insert. Let's go to mapping. Instead of auto mapping, let me disable this. Let's see if all the mapping are correct or not. Active flag is still not mapped. So I will map it with this active flag. So now it is properly mapped. So let's preview the data here. So all these three records are now getting inserted. So in this scenario, we have also covered this scenario. So if you consider this table, so this entire five column, this entire six column, employee ID, first name, middle name, last name, department name, and the start date. So combination of all these six, we are generating hash key. So considering the day two, we have received a new department ID. So its corresponding hash value will be different with this. So in this case, what we are trying to do is we are trying to insert this record. So we have covered this scenario also. So we have covered whichever are a new record, and even if there is an update, we need to update the existing record and insert a new record, right? So we have covered this scenario. How to update the new record? We need to check how we can update the existing record. So we inserted the new record and we covered all these three scenarios and this scenario also, as this is a new insert. So now let's see if there is any update, though we are inserting this new record, but we need to update the existing record and make it as inactive. So how we can do that? So for that, what we need to do is we need to go back to this data flow once again. Here, what we need to do is we need to use this target table as a source, and we will be comparing it with the source table as a reference. So we will be using so that we can identify which record in the target need to be updated. So here, this will be my driver, target table will be my driver, and source table will be my reference, or we can say is lookup. So in that case, what I will do, I will click on this hash target. I will click on exist, check for existing keys. So here I will compare, I will make the right stream as hash source. I will check for exist. And here my key column I will be checking is for the employee ID. So I will search for employee ID, the employee ID. So in this case, what I'm doing, I'm trying to check, let's consider this particular scenario in day two. In day two, what I'm doing a join. So this is my data in my day one. This is the new source data that I'm getting day two. So what I'm doing, I'm comparing this target table that is employee 1, 2, 3, and I'm checking if those 1, 2, 3 are available in the source or not. So in this scenario, as I'm doing the exist on this employee ID, I have this 1, 2, 3 in the target. I'm also getting this 1, 2, 3 in the source. So all these three records will be selected. So I'm checking if any existing employee ID which is there in the target is also available in the source or not. So I am able to identify these three records now from the target. Now I need to do is, so out of this three record, two record are copy. There is no change in the data and only one record need to be updated. So I need to filter out all these two records. I just need to select this particular record. So how I can do it? I can check after I have done the joining on the employee ID. I already selected this three. I need to check for this employee ID one, whatever the hash column I'm getting, is the hash column same in the source or not. So as the data has not changed, so whatever hash value I'm getting here, the same hash value will be selected here. So I need to check for a different hash value. So if you see this record, 3 Siva Sahu facility, here it is 3 Siva Sahu finance. So as the value has changed for the department name and the start date, the hash value that is available in the target will be different from the hash value available in the source. So in that case, the hash value is different. So I can identify that this particular record need to be updated with the active flag as N. So in that case, what I will do here is I already identified the existing keys. I need to just filter out the copy record and just need to identify the update records. So for that, what I'll do, I'll click on this plus sign and again click on exist, identify update. And here I will select for doesn't exist. And here the right stream will be again the hash source, and my left stream is check for existing record, and here the joining condition will be on hash. So in this section, what we are doing, we are trying to identify how many records are either copy or update. And here I'm just identifying, I'm checking the hash value and checking the hash value should be different. So if the hash value is different, that means that is an update. So in this, if I preview it, I will not get any data here because I don't have that scenario, because I don't have any target record. So there will be no update on top of it. So on this, what I will do, I will create a derived column to make this record as inactive. And I will provide the column name as active flag and make it as F. So I need to mark this particular record as no. And after that, I need to I need to update this particular record in the target table. So for that, before updating, I need to use an alter row. In this alter row, what I need to do is I need to search for alter row condition. Here I want to select for the update scenario. So I will be selecting this update if, and I will provide the condition as true. So what does this mean? So whatever the data is, we have already identified how many records should be updated into the target sync or in the target table. We have already identified that. When we are specifying that the update if true, that means whatever the data I'm getting from this is inactive component which is flowing into alter row, all those records should be updated. So here I have selected update if true, means all those records that are available in is inactive, which is flowing out of this is inactive and flowing into alter row, that will be considered as update. Now after this, what I need to do is I need to click on this and add a sync. And here it will be target update. And here my data set will be target. And let's go to setting. Here I should be only updating, so I can unselect this allow insert and click on this update. And I need to provide a key column. So what should be my key column? Basically, whenever an employee ID is changing its particular department, then the start date will also change. So if you see here, the Sivak Sahu was working in facility from 1st March 2023, and on 14th April 2023, it got changed to finance. So here my key column will be employee ID and start date. So for a particular employee ID and the start date, that particular employee ID will be working in a one particular department. So for that, what I need to do is I need to select this key column as employee ID, and then I will be selecting start date. Okay. And I need to select this keep writing key column so that these two key columns are not getting updated in the target table. So rest all columns should be updated and not these two columns. And let's go to mapping, and I will disable this auto mapping. Let's see if all the mapping is correct or not. So all the mapping is correct now. So what is the active flag? So here, so basically I need to map this active flag to the target. So this is a slower case active flag. But if you see here, the active flag is capital camel case active flag. Means it is coming from here itself, from the target reference component. So I need to modify these two lowercase active flag. Okay, so now my job is ready. We can click on this validate. So there is no error. Now we can go to pipeline and create a pipeline. SCD to pipeline. Let me save it. Go to move and transform and drag this data flow to the designer. Provide the appropriate data flow name. That is my SCD2. And let me validate it. There is now validation is successful. Now let me publish all. So it will ask me which all things I need to publish. So it is saying that pipeline and the data flow is getting published. Click on publish. So now it is published. So let me trigger it. So trigger it, what I can do, I can click on this add trigger and trigger now because I want to trigger it manually. So trigger now. So trigger on demand run for the last published pipeline. Trigger now. Click on OK. So now it has started running. Let's go to view pipeline run. It will take few minutes because first of all, what it will do, it will spin up the cluster and then it will start the processing. So let's wait for few minutes. So now we can see the job has run successful. Uh, let's go to this data flow details. And here you can see target insert, 3 records were written. And in target update, there is no record written because this is the first time that I'm running. So in this day one, I'm having 3 records that need to be inserted. So that is what is showing in this target insert also. Now let's go to SQL DB and let's see how the data is in the target table. So here you can see we have 3 employees, 1, 2, 3, and its corresponding department name, and all of them has the active flag Y. So now what I will do is I will be updating few records and I will be inserting few more records for the day one run. And let's see how it uh, operates how it changes the target table. So I will be inserting a new record. If you see the earlier example, in day one, I have a new record that is for Smita Mahapatra. And in the existing record that is employee ID 3, the department name is getting changed and its corresponding start date also. So for that, what I have done, I have inserted a new record and I'm updating the existing record from the source with employee ID 3 as a finance. So let me execute this query. So 2 records are updated. Let me see the data in the source. So here the fourth record is inserted and Siva Sahu has been changed to finance. Though in the target, you can see it is in facilities. So now let's do one thing. Let me go to the data flow once again. SCD2. Let's go to target update. Let me close this one and let me reopen it. Let's go to target update and let's go to data preview. So now here we should be seeing that one record is coming here, that is facility Siva Sahu record. So here you can see the facility Siva Sahu record is coming here and getting marked as active flag N. Now in the target insert, I should be having these 2 records. You can see in the target insert, I should be having these 2 records as the insert. That is Siva Sahu with the department name is finance and Smita Mahapatra with department as HR. So now let's see, go to data preview. So here you can see Smita Mahapatra with department as HR as active flag Y and Siva Sahu with finance is having the active flag Y. Now let me run this particular pipeline once again. Let's go to view pipeline run. Again, let's wait for a few minutes for it to get completed. So now we can see the job has executed successfully. Let's go to data flow details here in this spectacles icon. If we go here, we can see in the target insert, there are 2 rows inserted, and the target update, there is 1 row written. So if you go to my Excel that we are showing, we were having 2 records to be inserted and 1 record to be updated. So this is what is showing in the data flow also. So 1 record updated means this Siva Sahu facility record should be considered as inactive. So let's go to the database now. Let's check this particular target table. Employee ID 3, Siva Sahu with facility has been made as inactive. And there should be, so you can see there are basically 4 records that are currently active. That is employee ID 1, employee ID 2, employee ID 3. 3 with Siva Sahu Finance is now active, and Smita Mahapatra HR is now active. So now we have 4 records is active. So in this session, we checked in detail with some example how we can implement SCD type 2 by taking the source as a SQL database and writing it into a SQL database using data flow and Azure Data Factory. I hope this session is helpful. If it is informative, then please like and share the video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.